Oh, you're right. So this is day three, Puma part two. So tell us what your friends thoughts were on the three brands. So the three brands were Nike, Adidas, and Puma. Um, Spoke to my friends, and most of them prefer Adidas as sort of a brand that you could wear out, and it's versatile, so you can wear it when you're not just partaking in sporting activities. Um, but they all thought that Nike as well were trainers wise were the best, and especially sports trainers, football boots, anything like that. Nike was the one to beat, sort of thing. And Puma was a resounding, a bit boring. No one really has any Puma stuff. It looks a bit old school. That was the general gist of them. I mean, everyone said like had little different things. So they'd say, "Oh, I've got this Nike top that I really love," but as a general gist, they sort of asked them to rank them as well, and most of them ranked Adidas first, Nike second, and Puma third. Um, so, do you think there are certain types of people who like one over the other? What is an Adidas person like, for example? Um, I bet there are certain types of people that like one over the other, but I wouldn't be able to explain exactly what type of person likes what. I'd say out of those three brands, I'd consider I'll explain this later in the next question, but prior to having seen the after hours athletes, I'd have thought that Puma were the most dedicated sport, but Nike would still have a larger sports range. This is just my opinion, by the way. It's not a fact or anything that I know, but yeah. So I consider, and then I'd say Adidas had the largest because of their originals range, the largest sort of casual brand, apart from just the standard sports stuff that they make, like the climb cool stuff and all of that. They've got all the sort of extra bits that are trendy, and some of them look quite smart. Until you notice the little Adidas badge on it, you wouldn't even guess that it was Adidas. Um, so what's an Adidas person like, for example? Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't really be able to explain exactly what sort of person likes each one and why. I'm sure people will have their preferences, but I wouldn't be able to say stereotype X prefers brand Y because of this. I personally like Adidas the most, as I say, because they have the originals range, and purely because of that. When it comes to the actual sports part of all those ranges, I wouldn't say they differ too much apart from the label. They're all pretty standard. I mean, none of them are really that wacky, or it's just sportswear. So like trackies, most of them are a Nike one may not have the three stripes. It'll have one stripe going down the leg, and then a Nike badge. They'll be black. They'll have a white stripe. The Adidas one will have the three stripes going down the leg, and it'll just say Adidas on it. So yeah, so in that I wouldn't say there's much difference. I think people just buy what they see at the time and what they like. I don't think people go shopping around, especially between those brands, unless they're really loyal to them. But I wouldn't really see why. So which is your favourite brand of the three and why? I've explained that part already. Adidas because of the originals range. Do you think most people your age would agree? I think most people my age that like sports brands, not purely for the sportswear, would definitely agree that Adidas tops all of them, with their originals range. And how important is the history and heritage of a sports brand to you? Not at all important. I didn't even know about the Adidas Puma divide until my girlfriend, who's a fashion student, who's obviously quite interested in all these sort of things, she told me about the fact that they were both brothers and stuff like that. It was quite interesting to know, but I never knew that before, and none of their advertising or anything like that alluded to it. I didn't even personally know they were German brands. I always thought that they were probably like US brands. So yeah, so heritage of sports brand is really not that important. So what do you think of Puma? Um, well, until I watched this After Hours Athlete advertising, I never knew that Puma made any of those sort of casual type things that you could wear to the pub or to town or something like that. I literally thought all their stuff was like sports stuff, and then I've always hated their trainers. Always took a dislike to them for some reason. And I'm definitely not being prejudiced against the brand. It's literally the stuff they make just hasn't tempted me to ever buy anything. I don't even think that, apart from possibly a pair of socks, I don't own anything that's Puma. What exactly do you think the brand does that's cool? Well, as I say, up to now, up to seeing that thing, nothing. Do you buy their stuff? No, never. As I say, my mum might have bought me some socks, but yeah, I don't own any Puma stuff. If you had to pick comfort or looking stylish, which would you pick? Can you think of any brands which allow you to truly do both? Well, I don't know. I don't personally, apart from my work suit, I don't wear any clothes that I would consider to be uncomfortable. Whenever I buy something, I want it to be firstly comfortable and then look good. Obviously, you pick it because it looks good, then you try it on. If it's comfortable, then you buy it. If you try it on and it doesn't feel right, then you probably just leave it. I would definitely anyway. I don't know about, maybe there's some more severe fashionistas than me that would consider that not to be the case. So yeah, if you had to pick comfort or looking stylish, if you had to pick just one, it probably would be looking stylish. But I don't think that you have to pick just one, because especially with like Adidas sort of like jumpers, like the round V-neck jumpers that are popular now, they're extremely comfortable and you can wear them anywhere. And yeah, so I don't think you have to pick. Have you seen the Puma After Hours advertising? No, prior to this, I hadn't seen it. I watched it especially for this purpose. And yeah, I liked a lot of the clothes that are on there. There's some nice checkered shirts that I like at the minute that they were on there. Um, yeah, and the advertising, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you can relate to that sort of thing, because I enjoy playing darts, I enjoy playing bowling and snooker, and then a falafel at the end of the night. But I've never considered myself to be an athlete while doing it. But it's a nice little joke, and a lot of people will understand it, relate to it. I'm not sure, has that even been on TV, that advert? But it should be, because it's a good advert, definitely. Um, so what do you think of the idea of approaching people who aren't sport in the classic way? Does this approach appeal to you, and why? Well, yeah, as I said, I think that it's a really good idea for an advert. It would fit in with a lot of people that don't actually do sport but still wear the sport stuff, just because it is sort of stylish at the minute and it is comfortable as well. So yeah, good advert. If you're buying some new running shoes, which features sway you? Well, if they were actually purely running shoes and all I was planning on doing was running in them, then it'd be price number one and comfort number two, followed by looks. But I wouldn't specifically buy a pair of trainers just for running in. I'd probably have a sort of a pair of trainers that I would wear everywhere to start with, then they'd start to look a bit shit, and then I'd use them as my running shoes. That's just the way that I do it. So the features that sway me when I buy regular shoes are looks primarily, and then comfort, and then probably price would be third. So what about football boots if you play football? Yeah, I do play football, and I've got AstroTurf boots. Once again, because I play once a week and just for an hour with my mates for like a five-a-side league, I can't be asked to spend more than £30 on them. So all the new ones that come out, even though I like the look of them and I'd love to own them, because I don't play football enough, not seriously enough, I don't bother buying them, basically. So yeah, so football boots, £30 pair I've got at the minute. There's some Nike, just black with like a white tick, a bit of blue on them. They're fine. They do the job. That's all you need for football boots. Do celebrity sports people affect your opinions about brands? Tell us a bit about that. Well, I'm not swayed by celebrities. I quite dislike the whole idea of how people are into their celebrities at the minute, and like it's so vital to people's lives and they want to read magazines about them. I'm really not that sort of person. I'm not interested in that sort of stuff. What I would say is, because say Rooney wears a certain pair of boots, I wouldn't want to get them because Rooney's wearing them, but because I've seen them on him while watching a game, and maybe a few other players. It's just that repetition in your mind. You start to like things as you see them more and more. Often when you see something really radical for the first time, people don't really love change, and they'll sort of shy away from it to start with. But it's as time progresses and you see it more and more that it starts to grow on you, and you can see the sort of aesthetic beauty of them, if you like. So while they don't directly affect my opinion, celebrity sports people, I'm sure subliminally, because those are the people that I see wearing that sort of gear, then yeah, it will build on your mind, and you will then see that in the shop and think, oh, I might have seen them somewhere. You might not even recall where, but yeah, you'll probably be more swayed towards them. And the final question: do you like vintage or reworked sports brands? Do you always go for the most recent trend, or would you say that you're brand loyal? Definitely not brand loyal. As I said, I keep saying this, but I have got a thing for Adidas at the minute. But I don't think that's because I'm loyal to them. I just personally think it's because they're making things that suit my style the most at the minute. So I'm sure people are brand loyal, and maybe someone else would call me to be brand loyal because I own so many Adidas things. But I actually don't personally feel a loyalty towards Adidas. It is purely because what they're currently making suits me, so I buy it. If Puma started making that same sort of stuff, then I wouldn't have any problem to start buying their things as well. And vintage or rework sports brands, I love vintage sports brands like Fila. I've got a couple of Fila tops, and yeah, I like the sort of like old tennis gear as well, like the Fred Perry, um, stuff like that. Polo shirts, I like all that. I especially like it on girls as well. I saw a really nice Ralph Lauren, which is, I know it's not really a sports brand, but because they do the polo stuff, like it was a polo dress for a girl, and I really wanted to buy it for my girlfriend, but it was £180, so I didn't. But yeah, I really like that sort of stuff, especially stuff that looks a bit, say, I don't know, maybe like 30 years old now. But like, yeah, like in the Puma advert, like a couple of, that guy wearing the jacket with the P on it, like the old school sort of like American University stuff. I like that as well. I think that's quite fashionable at the minute. So yeah, that's that for that one.